Well, good evening, internets. It's me, DP Knudten, for another Bookward Bound, my 301-day journey from I should really do this to done. And that done is the creation of a brand new book called Nonfiction Brand, Discover, Craft, and Communicate the Completely True, Completely You brand you already are, which you can see right there. The mock-up of the cover right before you, which I created a long time ago in an attempt to inspire myself to actually write this darn thing. And the other part of that inspiration came in the form of inviting you to become my own peer pressure posse that's keeping me on the straight and narrow, forcing me to come down here every single night to work on this book because I told you I was going to. Yep, so that's what I'm doing every single night for 301 consecutive days starting on March 5th of 2020. That was Friday, March 5th. And since then, let's see, today is the 28th of October, which means this is episode 236. Yes, 236 consecutive days coming down here to work on the book. Are you amazed? You should be, because frankly, I am. Because I'll be honest with you, when I made that promise to both you and myself, I was like, I hope this isn't just wishful thinking. I hope it's something I can actually do. And the funny thing is, with the exception of 2 nights, which I was really, really sick with Lyme disease, of all things. Yeah, I swear, Lyme disease. I thought it was COVID. No, it was Lyme disease. And I couldn't come down for 2 nights in a row because I was like 103 fever and all that stuff. But I'm all better now. Thank you very much. And I'm continuing to work on the book as I have ever since then. So things are moving along really nicely. In fact, last night, I'm going to go over here to Scrivener to show you what I worked on last night. A whole new section that was wrapped up last night, about 1,000 words on when's the best time to personal brand 20 years ago, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to read this tonight because I've awarded it the coveted blue flag over here of pretty much it's done. It needs to be edited and some proofreading, stuff like that. But for the most part, it's in good shape. So I'm going to leave this alone and I'm going to work on something else. Oh, shut up, Siri. My God, when your wrist goes off on you and it's like, what the fudge? Anyway, what am I going to be working on? Oh, I know what I was going to work on. I was going to open up Descript, which is both an application and a online service that does all sorts of stuff, and I don't think I'm using anywhere near enough of its services, if you will. Oh, come on. Why is it asking me to enter? Now I got to look up. I'm not doing this tonight because I don't want to show you guys my passwords. How about that? Oh, dang you. Cancel. I want to quit there. Actually, I can do this. I can hide my passwords. While I do this, you can look at me as I stare at the screen going, because I do not remember what my password is. So, hold on. I do know my email is dp@dpknudten.com. And this should be my password. Let's see if it is. Come on, Descript. It, in fact, is. Yay. All right, so I'm getting rid of that. And I'm looking over here. And, yeah, let me show you Descript. It is a service that allows you to do a ton of stuff, one of which is transcription. And I learned about this from my friend Stephanie Liu. And you can see the very first episode I transcribed or had transcript transcribe was her episode. And I wanted to see if I had grabbed some Sarah Grosz. Okay. Episode 12 of Sarah Grosz. All right. So I want to do a search for link. No, not Don Stanley. I wanted Sarah Grosz. Ding, 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 ding. Sorry, unfortunately, I don't speak Spanish. Otherwise, I would respond to your comment in a very friendly way. Where did it go? Maybe. Didn't go in the trash, did it? Right. All right, so I want to go through this transcription looking for you're only why. Okay, so let's listen to this.
Yeah, it's actually exactly that. No one, or there's very little people who are so young on the platform. And so I knew that me having a presence on there would make a splash versus if I was.
It would make a splash. Text. It would make splash. Versus if I was a little bit older, a little bit more mature with a lot of experience. If I waited in the space was around it. There now it makes me so much more. One day I will have many followers. Yeah, I'm not holding my breath, Javier, or Javi Posada 26. Sorry, I can't even translate the number 26 into Spanish. That's what I get for taking German. It's 26 would be 26 in German. Anyway, I had many. Okay. So I am doing this.
If I waited until then, the space would be way too crowded already. And so kind of me being there now, it makes me
crowded. Already. Kind of me being there now, it makes me stand out so much more than if I was like 50 years old.
Than if I was like 50 years old, had like all the medals under my belts, and I would just be like another number because LinkedIn is a business
platform. I was 50 years old, comma, had like all the medals under my belt, comma, and I would just be another number. Get rid of it. No, let's leave like in there. I'll trim it out because LinkedIn is business. Everyone there is a business professional.
Number because LinkedIn is a business platform. Everyone there is a business professional, however they consider it. And so for me being 21 years old, it's like, crap, like, who is this girl? How come she has all this knowledge, or how come she can do this? And it kind of just like got people to look. It's the candy. That was my candy to get people to focus.
Well, that's pretty interesting because, all right. What? Reading this sentence doesn't make sense.
And one of the things I really love is the fact that you're 21 years old. Is that right? And you're hitting LinkedIn hard.
That right? Question mark. And you're hitting Buenos noches, Javi. Hope to see you around sometime. But and you're hitting LinkedIn hard. All right, so I'm going to grab this part. What section is this in? I think it's in branding doing. Yep. All right, so I'm going to take this and plug this in here. No. NFB. Episode number over 012. Nonfiction brand will be italicized because it is in fact the title of a show. I won't go ahead and hit that bit of italicized goodness. And then I'll go through. One of the things I really love, is the fact that you're 21 years old. Is that right? Is that right? Take that. Is that right? And you're hitting LinkedIn hard. Why? From everything I've read about you and your cohort, comma, you're supposed to be spending all your time on Snapchat or whatever the latest, greatest shiny object is. And here you are at 21 years old, comma, and you just have really devoted yourself to LinkedIn. Why? Yeah, it's actually that. No one. But there's very little people who are so young on the platform. And so I knew that me having a presence there, it would make a splash versus if I was a little bit older. Versus if I was a little bit older, a little bit more mature with a lot of experience. If I waited until then, space would be way too crowded already. And so kind of me being there now, it makes me stand out so much more than if I was like 50 years old. Had all the medals under my belt. That would just be like another number because LinkedIn is a business platform. Everyone there is a business professional, however they consider it. And so for me being 21 years old, it's like, crap. It's like, who is this girl? How does she know that? How does she have all this knowledge? Or how come she can do this? And it just kind of like got people to look, period. It's the candy. That was my candy to get people to focus. All right, let's see. That's interesting. Be not just real, but oh my God, girl. Be real. Be real. Be real. I'm gonna grab all right, so it's pretty interesting because you see that Sarah isn't afraid to drop some F-bomb. Or afraid to answer. Isn't afraid, not just to be not just real, but oh my God, girl, be real. And that's part of that stress energy, right? I mean, from my point of view, I look at what you're doing, and what you're doing is you're throwing a rock through a glass window. And that glass window is linked in, comma, or the perception be. Exactly. And I mean, it's not really it didn't start as a strategy. And like, this has been my personality since way back when I used to fight a lot with my parents. Just because I was so rebellious, I wanted to be as much independence as possible. And so I just transferred all of that, comma, all of me, into being a rebel, all of me being a rebel, onto LinkedIn. And then I started, because having a personal brand, started having a personal brand.
And then I started having a personal brand behind it. And then I started having a personal
Then started. Building a personal brand brand. And so now is part of my strategy, always keeping true to myself, making sure
brand behind it. And so now it is part of my strategy, always keeping true to myself, making sure that I ruffle little feathers.
Making sure that I ruffle little feathers here and there. I think it keeps it fresh. It keeps it interesting. I'm so sick of everyone being me. No, that's her. Great.
Keeps it interesting. I'm so sick of like everyone being a thought leader these days, because everyone thinks they are.
Because everyone. They are. It's funny. If you want to know the biggest flock of sheep that are walking around, it's the ones who put thought leader into their LinkedIn profile in some way or other. Because as you say, everybody's a thought leader these days. Yeah. I love it when they have to tell you that they're a thought leader, or they have to tell you they're an influencer. I mean, because one thing, you say it yourself, but a whole another ball game. If someone tells you you're an influencer. Oh, this is great. So I'm going to leave this whole thing in here. And then I'll add some intro copy up here. Intro copy. And I'll say some outro copy. Bada bing, that's cool. How to break and break into LinkedIn. only. All right. I've done what I set out to do tonight, and I think I'm going to quit Descript and head back over to Scrivener. I feel good about that. This upper part on this section is about Molly Mahoney. We're actually going to redo or have another podcasting session next week, so I hope to get some really great material on her. This whole section is about doing fewer things better. Molly specializes in Facebook. Sarah is totally about LinkedIn. So I wanted to provide those two examples. And I think they're great examples, personally. I mean, they're both really great interviews on the podcast. So you should definitely check out any of the any of the Nonfiction Brand podcast episodes featuring Molly Mahoney or Sarah Grosz are really, I think, good episodes. So you should get to know these women because they're fantastic, and I really enjoy talking with them because they always make me think, and they're bringing me a totally different point of view than I hear from the mundane, same old conventional wisdom spewers on social media. And I like original ideas from really thoughtful people. Sarah Grosz and Molly Mahoney are two people who certainly fit that bill. Well, that's it for me tonight. I think I'm done. I did what I wanted to do, get that transcript in there. It's not finally polished or anything yet, but it doesn't matter. I'm roughing it in. The key is to rough it in and then do some finished carpentry on it later. And that's what I will be doing the entire month of November. I think I'm going to wrap up the written parts of the book probably the first week of November, and then spend the entire rest of that month into December fine-tuning the entire book. Yeah, so again, half an hour here, an hour there, every single night until the end of the year, December 31st, 2020. And then the very next day, what do? Upload press-ready PDF files to Amazon's Kindle Direct Publishing platform. Yeah, am I crazy? Yes, I am crazy. It's insane, but it's also getting done. So that's it for me tonight. I'm DP Knudten for the Nonfiction Brand podcast. Yesterday's episode, or Monday's episode, came out on Monday, of course, and it features Paul Raimondo. Yeah, Paul Raimondo, the second half conversation with Paul Raimondo, episode number 114. Great guy from Perth, Australia. You should definitely check it out. I'll see you tomorrow. But until then, theme music, take us on out. I'll see you tomorrow.